Bishop Paul Morton and Paula White are two of the most recognizable and influential figures in modern Christianity. Both have built large followings through years of ministry, preaching, and public appearances, making any discussion involving their names especially significant within the Christian community. Bishop Paul Morton is widely respected as a pastor, gospel singer, and spiritual leader whose messages have inspired believers for decades. Paula White, meanwhile, has become known for her ministry, books, motivational preaching, and her connection to prosperity gospel teachings that have sparked both admiration and criticism over the years. Recently, growing attention has surrounded comments reportedly connected to Bishop Paul Morton regarding Paula White and the direction of certain teachings within modern Christianity. These discussions have sparked debate among believers, church leaders, and followers online who are now questioning what this controversy could mean for the wider Christian community. As conversations continue spreading across social media and church circles, many people are asking the same question: will Bishop Paul Morton truly speak out more directly on Paula White and the concerns surrounding her ministry? The situation has become especially interesting because both individuals hold powerful influence over millions of believers. Their words carry weight, and any disagreement or theological criticism between high-profile Christian leaders often becomes a major point of discussion. Supporters on both sides are paying close attention to every statement, interview, and public appearance, searching for clues about what may happen next. At the center of the controversy are concerns related to prosperity gospel teachings, a theological perspective that emphasizes material blessings, financial success, and physical prosperity as signs of God's favor. Paula White has long been associated with this message, and while many followers find encouragement in her teachings, critics argue that prosperity-focused preaching can sometimes create a distorted understanding of Christianity. Some church leaders and theologians believe that focusing too heavily on wealth and success risks overshadowing important biblical themes such as humility, sacrifice, compassion, and service to others. According to critics, there is concern that vulnerable individuals may be led to believe that financial blessings are guaranteed through faith alone, potentially causing disappointment or spiritual confusion when hardships occur. Bishop Paul Morton's reported concerns appear to reflect these broader debates happening within Christian communities around the world. He has emphasized the importance of maintaining a balanced understanding of faith, one that includes not only victory and blessings but also perseverance through suffering, spiritual growth, and caring for those in need. For Morton, Christianity is not solely about material increase. It is also about transformation of the heart, humility before God, and service toward others. Many people who follow Bishop Paul Morton appreciate his approach because it focuses strongly on biblical foundations and spiritual accountability. His messages often stress integrity, compassion, worship, and the importance of remaining grounded in Scripture rather than being carried away by cultural trends or personal ambitions. Because of this reputation, any comments he makes regarding another major Christian figure naturally attract attention. Supporters of Paula White, however, argue that her teachings have positively impacted countless lives by encouraging people to believe in hope, faith, and personal breakthrough during difficult circumstances. They believe her ministry motivates individuals to trust God for improvement in their lives and to overcome fear and limitation. Many followers also point out her charitable efforts and years of ministry work as evidence of her commitment to helping people spiritually and emotionally. This difference in perspective is part of what makes the discussion so complicated. On one side are critics concerned about theology and accountability. On the other are supporters who believe Paula White's ministry has genuinely inspired and uplifted many individuals. The debate reflects a much larger conversation happening within modern Christianity about leadership, prosperity teachings, and the role of public ministry in today's world. One of the strongest points reportedly connected to Bishop Morton's concerns is the idea that faith should extend beyond personal success and include care for the marginalized and vulnerable. He has emphasized that Christianity should inspire believers to show compassion, seek justice, and help those who are struggling. According to this perspective, focusing primarily on wealth and prosperity can risk creating a self-centered version of faith rather than one centered on service and love. This message resonates strongly with many believers who feel that modern Christianity sometimes prioritizes celebrity culture, financial success, and popularity over deeper spiritual values. They believe church leaders should model humility, accountability, and transparency rather than focusing heavily on personal wealth or public image. Questions about financial transparency and leadership accountability have also become part of the wider discussion. Some critics believe large ministries should provide greater openness regarding finances, organizational decisions, and the handling of donations. They argue that accountability is especially important when ministries reach millions of followers and generate significant financial resources. At the same time, supporters of Paula White argue that criticism directed toward successful ministries can sometimes become unfair or overly harsh. They believe influential pastors are often judged more intensely simply because of their visibility and public influence. For these supporters, Paula White remains a respected leader whose teachings continue helping people strengthen their faith. The possibility of Bishop Paul Morton speaking more openly about Paula White has created intense curiosity because of what it could represent symbolically. It would not simply be about one pastor criticizing another. It would reflect deeper tensions within Christianity regarding doctrine, leadership styles, and the future direction of modern ministry. Many believers are closely watching to see whether Bishop Morton will continue addressing these concerns publicly or choose a more private and measured approach. Some hope for a thoughtful theological discussion that encourages unity and reflection rather than division and conflict. Others believe stronger accountability conversations are necessary for the health and integrity of the church. The growing attention surrounding this situation also highlights how social media has changed the way religious discussions unfold. In previous decades, theological disagreements often remained within churches, conferences, or academic discussions. Today, however, statements and opinions can spread instantly online, reaching millions of people within hours. This increased visibility can amplify controversies quickly and create strong emotional reactions from supporters and critics alike. For many Christians, the broader issue is not simply about Paula White or Bishop Paul Morton individually. It is about the direction of faith communities and what values should remain central in modern Christianity. Questions about prosperity, humility, service, accountability, and biblical interpretation continue shaping important conversations across churches around the world. Bishop Morton's emphasis on returning to biblical orthodoxy has especially resonated with believers who feel concerned about the influence of trends and commercialization within religion. His message encourages Christians to evaluate teachings carefully and ensure that faith remains rooted in Scripture rather than personal gain or cultural popularity. This perspective challenges believers to think critically about the messages they consume and the leaders they follow. It raises questions about how churches balance encouragement and hope with honesty about hardship, sacrifice, and spiritual responsibility. Many people see this discussion as an opportunity for meaningful reflection rather than simply controversy. Meanwhile, Paula White continues to maintain a strong following of supporters who value her motivational style and her focus on overcoming obstacles through faith. For these followers, her ministry represents empowerment, positivity, and trust in God's ability to provide breakthrough during difficult times. They believe criticisms often overlook the encouragement and inspiration many people receive through her teachings. As conversations continue, many observers hope that any future discussions between Christian leaders will remain respectful and constructive. Public disagreements within religious communities can easily become divisive if handled carelessly. However, thoughtful dialogue can also lead to deeper understanding and renewed focus on shared values and beliefs. The situation also reminds people of the enormous influence spiritual leaders hold over their audiences. Pastors and televangelists often shape not only religious beliefs but also personal decisions, emotional well-being, and financial choices for millions of followers. Because of this influence, discussions about accountability and theology carry significant importance. For younger generations especially, these conversations may shape how they view modern Christianity and church leadership moving forward. Many young believers are searching for authenticity, honesty, compassion, and transparency from spiritual leaders. Debates like this can either strengthen or weaken trust depending on how they are handled publicly. As speculation continues about whether Bishop Paul Morton will speak out more directly regarding Paula White, the discussion remains highly emotional and deeply personal for many people involved. Supporters of both leaders feel strongly about their perspectives, and emotions surrounding faith can often intensify disagreements. Still, many believers agree on one important point: the need for sincere reflection about what Christianity should represent in today's world. Whether discussing prosperity teachings, social responsibility, or biblical interpretation, the larger goal for many Christians is ensuring that faith remains centered on love, truth, humility, and compassion. Bishop Paul Morton's reported comments have already sparked important conversations about spiritual leadership and the responsibilities that come with influence. Even people who disagree with his perspective acknowledge that these issues deserve thoughtful discussion within the Christian community. At the same time, Paula White's continued popularity demonstrates that many people still connect deeply with messages of hope, personal breakthrough, and faith in God's provision. Her ministry continues reaching audiences around the world despite ongoing criticism from some religious leaders and theologians. The ongoing discussion between differing perspectives within Christianity is unlikely to disappear anytime soon. Questions about prosperity gospel teachings, ministry accountability, and spiritual authenticity have existed for years and continue evolving as churches adapt to modern culture and technology. As believers wait to see whether Bishop Paul Morton will continue addressing Paula White publicly, one thing remains clear: this conversation has become larger than any single individual. It reflects deeper concerns about the future of faith communities, the meaning of responsible leadership, and the values that should guide modern Christianity. Many people hope the outcome of these discussions will encourage greater understanding, stronger accountability, and renewed focus on compassion and biblical integrity. Regardless of personal opinions, the situation has already inspired widespread reflection among believers who care deeply about the direction of the church and the influence of spiritual leaders in today's world. In the end, the attention surrounding Bishop Paul Morton and Paula White highlights the powerful role faith continues playing in the lives of millions of people. It also shows how deeply believers care about the messages being shared from church pulpits, television broadcasts, and online platforms around the world. Whether Bishop Morton ultimately speaks out more directly or chooses a quieter approach, the conversations sparked by this controversy are likely to continue shaping discussions within Christian communities for a long time to come. Thanks for the watching and subscribe.